Hey guys, Who's Sandwicher here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is not going to be one of my happier videos, or just regular videos, because unfortunately we lost a very important man and an icon. You guys know him. A lot of people know him as Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman. He died at age 43 on Friday, August 28th, and he was battling stage 4 colon cancer. I just thought it was very important to make this video. If I seem to be struggling for words, it's because I am. It's just a very heartbreaking thing. We don't just know him as Black Panther, although that's where he got really big, because Marvel's such a giant franchise and they do so well, and so many people watch them, and so many people have read the comics and everything. So it's easier for him to be known for that. But he played Thurgood Marshall, he played Jackie Robinson, he played James Brown. I mean, he's been in a lot of movies. Those are his more, I feel, known roles. And, these are important figures in Black history. And he played them very well. And with everything he had at all times. And, I mean, even the people who were making Black Panther, they didn't really know about his illness. That's how much he, kept to himself and tried to keep people from worrying in that way and everything about him. And he just came to work every day, and it wasn't just a job, it was his calling. It was something he was very good at, and it was very important to him to, represent people on the screen that looked like him in various ways. I mean, I don't know how to pronounce the language, so I'm not even going to try. But I read an article where the language that was African, that was spoken in Black Panther and parts of, did it show up a Civil War? Yeah, parts of that. It's a actual African language. It's his father in the movie's native tongue, and he learned how to do it just for those movies. He was like, we need to have the actual language be in here. It can't be like a westernized thing. This needs to be African culture to the max. Like, we have to have dancing. Can't just stand there with spears. They have to reflect African culture. He made it very, very important. He made a point to show up and, be a part of the entire process and really make sure the film would be what it's meant to be. And that's just very important. And I really love that he was a part of these things in that way, because so many people will just be in something just to be in it. Or, they don't go the extra mile to really represent, because representation is highly important. I don't care about all these people saying, like, all those people that are getting mad that people started saying Wakanda forever. Why are you mad? I don't get why you're upset, because I get that's fictional place or whatever, and they made this up and yada yada yada. But listen, kids watch this movie, and for them, Wakanda forever might not mean the same thing that it means to somebody that's, I don't know, 30 plus years old, or even somebody my age or close to it. Because these little kids saw a superhero on their screen that was the same color as them and played them well and spoke African tongues, and they had their tribal dances and everything going on in that movie. And the beautiful scenery. Like, there's no Marvel movie like Black Panther. It's not the best in terms of action and, just like a regular superhero movie, because that's not what it is. That's not what its purpose was. It was supposed to show a superhero, but it's a completely different culture. And they wrapped it up so beautifully and so amazingly. And it's just an amazing movie. And the cinematography was beautiful. The cast was beautiful. All of them are just amazing human beings, and the whole movie had a bigger purpose. And these kids are, they're holding funerals for him in their homes and everything. They're doing the Wakanda Forever stance. I'm trying to do it, my arm got stuck. But it's not just a fictional place for them. So you just say, oh, you've been saying Wakanda Forever needs to stop. No, what you need to stop. You need to stop, and you need to sit there and think of what you're talking about, because there are so many people that this was a place that, even if we all know it's fictional, we all knew that But this was a place that was important for us. It was not like, you know how Thor with Asgard. He sees his dad. His dad says, Asgard is the people, not the place. The people is what you are protecting and what matters the most. That's what Wakanda is for a lot of people of our complexion and the variations that come with our complexion. It is us. It is us as the people. That's what the movie is showing. It's all of us together. We're all warriors. We're all kings and queens. And I just don't understand why some people get so mad about the Wakanda for everything, because we know it's fictional. We know at some point he started getting annoyed of hearing that, but a lot of people only know him from that, or they're just finding out, oh, he was in other movies, or oh, he was doing this. I mean, wasn't that him? He was in, I think it was called 21 Bridges. I didn't get to see that movie, but I really wanted to just because he was in it. You know, he's been in other things, but Marvel's Black Panther was huge. It was huge, huge, huge. And it's because it means so much. Because you can have, you know, we had him play Thurgood Marshall. We had him play Jackie Robinson. I loved the movie 42, by the way. I have that movie. And, you know, he was playing James Brown. And we know of these figures. And they're big and prevalent parts of our culture. And they're real. But we also don't have a lot of representation elsewhere. Those are real people. In fictional ways, you know, back in the day, and even still sometimes now, we had minstrel versions of ourselves, which, if you don't know what a minstrel show is, basically that was a bunch of Jim Crow type of thing, blackface to the max, a bunch of usually white people wearing, I don't even know what black paint, charcoal, whatever the freak they put on their faces. I couldn't be, calm down. Anyways, they would do blackface a lot, and it was basically just a giant show of stereotypes making fun of us, and a lot of other cultures as well, but predominantly us. And you know, they had things like that, and we were basically comics for so long. And some people, that's all they saw. You know, all they saw was this. If you lived in somewhere really, really far up north, you usually weren't about to see a bunch of black people, because the South, you know, used them as slaves a lot. The North was they were iffy, but there are areas where there's predominantly not black people, and that's just how life works. There's predominantly not black people. There's predominantly not Asian people. You know, depending on where you are, you're not going to see a certain amount of people, and you know, it just affects how, like, media does affect how people see things, especially back then, because it was so much more difficult to, you know, actually get real information passed along. Now we can pass along the fakest information we want and the realest information we want at the push of a button, you know. And the representation we've had was garbage. It really was. It was straight up garbage, and you can look it up, you can do the research, you'll know it was garbage. Until, honestly, 70s to the 80s area was when Hollywood started losing money and they needed us, and so they put us in movies, and there were a bunch of black sitcoms that came out. And, you know, it was able to show sometimes a pretty good representation of what the culture was actually like. And then they stripped them and were like, hey, we have money now, go away. And then, you know, over time, you know, Hollywood's a interesting little community. Anyways, but it's just, Chadwick Boseman he was just such a prominent figure that was necessary, and he knew he was necessary, and he used his platform to be something that we needed, especially because of all of the craziness that is constantly happening in our communities and things that constantly get pushed to the media. Like, there's a lot of the times it's not good stuff that we see. You know, any day now I could see my brother on the news because he was shot, or my dad, or literally any member of my family. You know, I could see freaking one of my cousins that's my age, younger, a little bit older, that's a girl that got raped, or a male. I mean, because people are nuts. And I could see it be from police. I could see someone doing a citizen's arrest, you know, and it's not stuff that's exciting. It's not good to see, but it's important. And you know, it's really depressing, and it's just constant. And then there's so many people that'll be like, well, all lives matter and this and this and that. Please shut please just shut up. Like, we know all lives matter. We're saying our lives matter too. And I'm not even going to get into that in this video, because I have a completely separate video that's completely and solely going to be dedicated to that. So if you want to start an argument in my comment section, go ahead, but I'm going to say what I have to say. But just, the representation that he brought was so important. And you can clearly see that with the response that the media gave him. Like, there's so many people, whether they're just following a trend or not, that came out and they're so deeply affected by this. And he's not just a fictional character. That was he personified one, but he was a real person. He was an actor. He was a black man. He was a beautiful king. And the representation he gave us was just so important. You can tell because there's so many kids that were like, hey, look, there's a superhero that looks like me. Like, we didn't really have that. Like, we just really didn't. And we got one, and he played it so wonderfully. He knew what that role meant and what it would do for our community. And that's just so amazing. And the representation, it holds a special place in our hearts. And you maybe just will never get it because some of you have always had that representation. But for us, that representation means everything. Because it wasn't one of those just, oh, we're just going to make him black. Like, we're just going to make this one character black. We're going to do whatever we want with him. No, he had such a voice in the production of the movie. And, you know, he played his part so well. And he knew what it all meant. And that's very important. And so the reason everyone's grieving so hard, we didn't know him personally. So many of us don't know him personally, obviously. But we saw the beautiful soul that he was. And we saw the representation. And we saw ourselves in him in ways that we hadn't before. And that's just very important. And if you can't see the importance of that, then that's a personal problem. Then you need to start reevaluating yourself. But it is just so shocking. And so, like, when he died, I had a bunch of notifications on my phone. I wasn't even looking at my phone, so I had no idea. I was just watching YouTube, and I just happened to glance at my phone, and I just see a bunch of my friends saying Chadwick Boseman is dead, and I was like, he's what? Like, it didn't even seem real when I heard that, and I was like, there's been so many deaths in our community this year alone, and they're just so heartbreaking. And you know, each one is felt. Each one is really felt. And it's just, we just had so much. I'm trying so hard not to cry, because I teared up a little bit before I started making this video, and I don't want to cry, because it's just, there's not going to be someone else that is him, you know. That was the one him, and he was a great him, and he did everything, you know, for us, and that's very important. And you know, he's really inspiring, and so many little kids might have wanted to be, you know, superheroes. And you know, we finally had one that was actually someone that looked like us, and someone that spoke like a lot of us. I personally can't speak African. I'm going to learn Twi soon, though, which is mostly spoken in Ghana, I've been told, or some parts of Ghana. Not written as much, I think. But I personally, you know, I'm not from like, I wasn't born in Africa, but I just know for their culture, I mean, it must have been just so exciting to have traditions on that screen, because it's just so lacking in regular media and movies and TV. It just really is. And I don't know. And then there's the thought that a lot of people are getting mad that people are starting to think about Black Panther 2, and like, I hope it was filmed. Listen, okay, I get why people are mad about that aspect, but you have to look at the reasons that people are even talking about this, because he was Black Panther, and he was supposed to be in, well, he wasn't supposed to be in Black Panther 2. It's obvious, you know, he died when he died, and The writing was supposed to be done. All of that was supposed to be done, and he served his purpose. And I mean, it would have been amazing if he made it, but it would have been more amazing if he made it for himself. To, you know, continue doing what he loved and everything. But Black Panther 2, I think most people are worried about it because they know they can't have another actor for it. You cannot put another one in there. I know it's not supposed to happen for another 2 years. It comes out sometime in 2022, but it's just, you either, a lot of people are saying cancel the movie, or, you know, don't recast, but make it, or if you're going to do it, make it be Shuri, you know. So I don't know what they're going to decide. They have to decide this. They have time to decide it, but personally, I think Shuri would be the best bet, unless they're going to CGI his face on. And that might honestly be more heartbreaking than just having Shuri or not having a second movie at all. Because I researched this, so the movie was supposed to be centered more on him as Black Panther. And the reason they were doing this was because when he was brought into Black Panther, he was a man, you know? And in the comics, he was a boy. He was kind of young, and his dad died way earlier than they showed in Black Panther 1. And they kind of wanted to show, like, if they would have gone from when he was a kid, it would have shown, like, how he became Black Panther and how he had to go through the, like, struggles of youth and everything. So they wanted to focus more on his character as Black Panther and not just as the man, and then slowly in the beginning of him being Black Panther. They wanted to show, like, how his decision to open up Wakanda to the world was affecting everyone and doing all of these things. And I don't know, you know, that's in the broader sense. I don't know what the specifics would have been, but if you knew that information, it's even more heartbreaking because, you know, you don't want them to recast, because this movie was for him. It was going to be solely, you know, about his evolution and character development and all of those things, and that's just so important. And I'm so very happy that that's what the idea was for that movie. But I don't know, I agree. I don't think they should recast. I think that if you're mad about people saying, I hope they didn't film Black Panther 2. I mean, listen, half of them probably didn't really pay attention to him, or they're following the trend, or they just hopped on the movie because he was Black, whatever. That's how life is, you know, and you can be mad at that all you want. But right now, what you could be doing instead is celebrating his life, you know, and just, you know, if you want them to not recast, have a petition, do something, you know, tangible, instead of getting mad at people and starting arguments, because we don't need that right now. What we need is to support each other, which is what we always need to do, but half the time we're not doing it. And, you know, we don't need to be torn apart right now, because we're already torn inside. And there's been so many deaths this year, not even counting, you know, the ones from police brutality or any other thing. And, you know, just some from natural causes. Maybe that's allegedly. I don't know. I mean, we've lost a ton of rappers. We've lost civil rights activists. And we've lost many to police brutality. I mean, Emmett Till's, I can't even think how many years it's been, because my brain is so muddled right now. I meant to have this in my head, but I'm gonna look it up. So I'm gonna go on my phone real quick, because I know it was very, very recent. Let's see when I'm just very upset right now. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going through it right now. So, anyway, so Emmett Till, if you don't know who that is, he was a 14-year-old. He was African American. He was lynched in Mississippi solely because a white girl lied about him doing stuff with her. I'm not even gonna go into that. And then she, years later, when she's older, she apologized. And I'm like, he's dead already. Thanks for your apology, but you literally got a man killed because you lied on him. And that her mom, wow, I'm so I'm sorry, his mom can never have him back or experience any of the things he would have done, but I'm very glad that we still remember him, you know, because that's what's very, very important, that we remember him and do not forget him, because when you start forgetting, that's when someone truly dies. Okay, I looked it up. It's been the 65th anniversary of Emmett Till's murder. Was actually the same time, Friday, August 28th. Let me make sure I'm not losing my mind. That was Friday, yes. Friday, August 28th, his 65th anniversary of his death. I think that it's very interesting that he passed on such a, you know, historical day in history. I mean, it was going to be historical regardless because it was Chadwick, but I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, honestly. I just want to close the video by saying representation is important, whether you decide it is or not. It just is. Because seeing someone in mainstream media that is like you can do wonders. I mean, it can give you confidence that you didn't even know you lacked, or maybe you did know you lacked, or, you know, it can make you speak out more. It can make you, you know, it can literally alter you inside, because, or at least, at the very least, give you a sense of belonging, or a sense of things can be better and can be okay, because you start seeing more people that are doing good and are showing a different side of the culture, or showing parts of the culture that they choose, that a lot of people choose to ignore or choose not to educate themselves on. And it's just so important that we have that constantly in media. And I'm just very glad that for his own sake, Chadwick was able to portray people that were very important and just do what he wanted and loved for so many people, and visited so many kids, and, you know, gave them hope, and gave them a sense of, you know, security and a sense of love, because there's so many things that push us down, and, you know, so many ways that a lot of us don't love ourselves, or we have so many insecurities or so many things because we're just not seeing ourselves in great lights and beautiful lights in media. And I'm just so happy he was able to portray a king, not just a regular king, an African king, a superhero king, a bad A king, a technologically advanced, well, Letitia was, but technologically advanced king. And he had women, strong women by his side that were literal warriors. And, you know, the African dances and the music and everything going on, and the beautiful imagery that we got to see. I'm just so happy he was able to be a part of that, and he was able to be, you know, just amazing. And I forget for us for a second. I'm just happy for him because he got to do what he had wanted to do. And even though he was battling this, he was going through every day battling this cancer. I think they said since 2016, right? Yeah, 2016. He was battling this, he was battling every day, but he showed up and he produced what he needed and wanted to produce. And I'm so happy he was able to do that. I'm so happy he was casted. He just seemed like such an amazing guy. And if you watch his interviews, he was just so chill and down to earth and just like so homely. I think like if you sat with him, you wouldn't really feel awkward. You just have conversations, or you wouldn't, and it wouldn't be awkward. You just feel like you mattered and you could just relax, and I'm sad I never got to, meet him. I mean, I'm probably not going to meet a bunch of people, but that's one of the people I would love to meet in my lifetime, just because I feel like it would just be a very great experience, especially if they had the time to sit and talk to me. I would ask them so many relevant, stupid questions because I feel like journalists ask the same. So, how did you feel about doing this movie? Who cares? Like, you know how they felt about doing this movie. If this movie was amazing and it was in the freaking Marvel universe and it meant so much for my community, what do you think the answer is? So, I mean, I would be asking, like, what was your favorite costume? Or, you know, like, how did it feel to have that just giant crowd of women just helping you out? Because, I mean, listen, those women, bro, they said, Wakanda forever, and they went, and they just started battling. Yo, that was crazy. And then, freaking the Beast in that movie, what the freak were those things? Bro, that movie was just so, I don't know, it was just so good, and he's just so amazing, and I deeply, deeply feel so, I'm not even gonna say sorry, I feel happy for the people that knew him personally, and even the ones that were not as close but knew him, you know, like from working with him, because they got to experience him. And as terrible and sad and, you know, upsetting as his passing is, they got to have someone in their lives that could inspire them and could propel them forward and motivate them to be better versions of themselves. And I am very happy for them that they got that opportunity, and I really love that. And I just hope that his passing, you know, motivates others and really inspires them and brings more people together instead of apart, because look, we saw it. It can be done. Representation done right can be done, you know? And I just think we need to really focus on that aspect and take what him existing means and use it as a propeller to propel forward and crush boundaries and do better things. Like, I personally went to become a child and developmental psychologist, and I went to go to Africa because I know mental health in the US is still garbage, but we at least have stuff in place. Kinda might be trash, but we have stuff in place. And in a lot of other countries, they don't have resources, or they don't really know what to do. And I want to help people, you know, just not feel like garbage and to feel like they're beautiful, and, like, you know, represent them and help them use their voices, because I for so long have felt so small, and I've been trying really hard to appreciate my color and my culture and everything, because, you know, there's a lot of things personally that have gotten me down, and I'm honestly a very depressed person, but I know what my complexion means, and I want to celebrate it. And we need the representation. We need it in the medical field. We need it in the mental health field. We need it everywhere. And I just really hope that him existing and him doing what he did, even as an actor, will help people think and really choose their career paths and stick with them if they can. And if if it's difficult and you can't find funding, I mean, I hope more people will help them, you know, celebrities, somebody will help give the funding, because I know that can also be a huge factor, or having to care for, you know, your family member because something happens and your parent has to work, or parents hurting, and so you gotta be the one that go makes money and stuff and sacrifices things. You know, there's a lot of things that happen, and I just really, really hope that more people stick to becoming doctors. I need you guys to stick with it. Go to medical school. Do what you gotta do. You know, because we need to force ourselves and we need to force them to reevaluate what they're doing, because we need that representation in so many areas. And I don't know, I just hope that this is going to do something. And I really encourage you to be your very best and to stick to what you believe in and not let people bring you down. And if you're fighting a battle, even if it's not, you know, as literally physically tearing away at you as cancer does, that you can find it within yourself to keep moving forward, and I'm trying to as well, and I'm here for you. If you want to randomly hit me up on Twitter, I don't mind. Listen, I like to talk to people. I'm quiet and introverted, honestly, so, but I like talking to people, and I will listen. I really will. I'm in school now, so it's a little bit harder, but I got time. I will always have time for y'all. If I ever get big, which I highly doubt, I will still have time. Will I struggle with answering a bajillion freaking comments? Yes. But if I see some and I'm able to answer, I'm going to answer. If I need to, if my thumbs get tired and I need my friend to take my phone and start going through the messages and I have to tell them what to respond, I will do that too. I will figure it out, and I don't know, but just love each other, stay true to yourself, change if it's going to be healthy for you to change. Don't change just because someone tells you you should and you don't even think it's something you need to change about yourself. But evaluate yourself, be inspired, find things to motivate yourself, find things to be inspired by. Don't take his passing as a crippling thing that adds on to how terrible this year has been in many ways. Celebrate him, celebrate yourself, celebrate us, because we don't celebrate ourselves enough. And we come together at such late times. Like, this is depressing. I don't want you to come to me because we just lost somebody. I want you to have been there, and then when we lost them, I want us to celebrate. Now, we don't have to literally be dancing and doing things, but I want, talk about it and really express how you're feeling. And if you can't, sit with somebody that you can trust and just sit. You don't even have to talk. Grieve together and allow yourself to feel it, but allow yourself to also realize what he is, what he was, and what he means still, even after death. Because I'm a firm believer that you die, yes, you die, but what really makes a person die is us not talking about them anymore. The people that are alive, not, living with them on our minds, or with their message and their missions on our minds. I just want you guys to know that it's okay to be sad about this. I don't care if a bunch of people want to say, oh, he's a fictional character. No, he was a real man. He was a very important man, and he did a lot for our community. So you grieve as much as you need to, and you get back up, and you be the king or queen that you're supposed to be. And that's all I gotta say. And to anyone else that doesn't agree, they're not you. They got nothing to do with you. If they don't feel it, they don't feel it. But we are allowed to grieve and feel what we feel. And I'm a firm believer of that. So, that's it. Stop moving, chair. I know I'm small, but dang. Conform to my ideals. I mean, just stop. Okay. I can't. I was gonna try to script this, but there's nothing to script, I'm so sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. I'm trying to calm down. Buy the movie if you don't have it, by the way. Don't even just stream it. Get the DVD. I don't care if you don't have a DVD player. If you are able, buy that movie.